How's it going, guys? Welcome back to another Pokemon Scarlet and Violet Wi-Fi battle. Today we're on versus Tyler, or Lazy Boy, from the Discord server in the OU tier. Looking at their team, they've got a pretty awesome Sun team. I see a Magmortar, a Venusaur, which I like, Gouging Fire, Walking Wake, Charizard, and the Torkoal. I am crying right now because this team looks terrifying to face against, especially for my poor Skarmory over here. So, I'm looking at the team and I'm thinking, I'm getting a couple of Dragon Dances up with old Feraligatr over here. We might be in a good start. So, gonna do what I did last time against Notorious HIM. I'm gonna lead off with Deoxys Defense to get that knockoff off on the Torkoal that they lead off with. Just so we can stop them from having the sun up too long in the future. And then, hopefully, like I said, Feraligatr is gonna do something in this game. I can just feel it in my bones. I feel like Stealth Rock is gonna be really helpful here, though. And the battle begins. Good luck, have fun, Lazy Boy. They're going to lead off with Slowpoke, the Torkoal, as we lead off with DNA, the Deoxys Defense. So not a bad matchup. Like I said in the last game, I want to knock off this Heat Rock because they're going to have 8 turns of Sun right now. We don't like that. So the next time they set off Sun, I don't want them to have 8 turns again. So I want to knock that Heat Rock right off. So they do withdraw. They don't want to get knocked off. Makes a lot of sense. But something is, as they bring in the Golden Child, which is, of course, the Charizard. So we're going to knock off the Charizard's item, which is great. So the good thing about this is they're usually special, and they are Choice Scarf with solar power. So we've got to go for a teleport here. We definitely need a nice slow teleport going on. So I'm going to go for the teleport. We don't really need spikes, but they go for a flamethrower. It's boosted by solar power in the sun. Does over half to the Deoxys Defense. This Deoxys Defense is especially defensive, so I am very surprised about that. So we're going to switch out Deoxys Defense, and we're going to go into something a bit more suitable to take on a non-choice scarfed Charizard. So they could have Solar Beam. We've got to be very careful of that. Definitely could have Solar Beam. I think Dragapult is the one that's most suited for this because everything on their team goes down to a Draco Meteor. Plain and simply, they just go down to it. So I'm going to go for a Draco because they haven't got a switch in. I could go for Shadow Ball because Shadow Ball also doesn't have a switch in. I don't want a Tera, that's for sure. And Shadow Ball will take out the Charizard from here. So let's think about it. So we go for a Shadow Ball. Definitely going to take out that Charizard right there. No problems there. As Charizard does go down, they didn't really have a switch in. They don't really have a switch into Dragon or Ghost, which is great for my Dragapult. Dragapult is looking like the MVP already. In comes Reptilicoon. That's a cool name. I like that nickname. That's cool. So they're going to get that Photosynthesis boost in speed, which makes this Walking Wake extremely dangerous. So I'm going to have to sack something here. I'm going to sack off Deoxys Defense. Deoxys Defense, in all 3 games I've had with this team, has done barely anything. The most helpful it's been is knocking off the Damp Rock from the Pelipper in the last game. That's the most help it's been. So Deoxys Defense being in OU is not a problem for me. I just don't see it. I might be using it wrong. But they go for a flip turn, which is actually perfect because that's going to be weakened by the sun. Means they get a free switching with whatever they want. I feel like they're going to go into the Venusaur here to go for a growth. I feel like that's coming, but then again, we might have Psycho Boost. In comes Incineroar. The Gouging Fire comes in. It's going to get a Photosynthesis boost in its attack, I'm guessing. Attack was heightened. There we go. Now, this is a very dangerous position, right? The reason being is that this thing could easily Dragon Dance right now, which means we're going to have to go to Skarmory and go for a Whirlwind. So I'm going to go for a Teleport. They do go for a Dragon Dance, as expected. We get to keep the Deoxys Defense for fodder later on, which is always nice. But this thing, after a Dragon Dance, hits stupidly hard. Ridiculously hard. Now, luckily, Skarmory's Sturdy is intact, and we have the Rocky Helmet. So I'm going to go for that. And then I'm going to Whirlwind this thing for later. Now, we've just got to make sure that later, we don't put this thing in a position where it can Dragon Dance again. So I'm going to go for the Whirlwind. I'm going to go for that Whirlwind right now. They're going to go for a Flare Blitz. They're going to get all sorts of recoil. So they go for a Burning Bulwark, which is even better for my Skarmory, because that does not protect you from Whirlwind, I don't think. As we go for that Whirlwind, there we go. Blow them away. And this means Skarmory's intact, which means we have it as insurance for later if the Gouging Fire decides to set up a Dragon Dance again. So they get Whirlwinded into Torkoal, which is great. And we can now go into Deoxys Defense once again. They probably go for a Stealth Rock, though. If they go for a Stealth Rock, that's not good. That ain't good. That ain't pretty or good. So I'm going to go into Deoxys Defense once again. I don't want to get hit by a Lava Plume right now. But my Deoxys Defense, I have a feeling, isn't going to mind too much. I feel like it will live a Lava Plume. So we get that pressure exerting, which doesn't mean anything. And they go for a Lava Plume. And yeah, we do eat it up like it's nothing. We do get the burn, which sucks, but it is what it is at the end of the day. So we did knock off the Charizard earlier. Now we get a fresh knockoff on whatever we want. And I am going to take the opportunity to go for the knockoff. I think that's going to be a good opportunity. Then again, I don't want to give that Gouging Fire a free switch in. I really don't. But screw it, I'm going to go for the knockoff anyway. So they do withdraw. We get a fresh knockoff off on whatever we want, which is great. They are going to go into Brute Root. Oh, that's a great nickname for a Venusaur. That's a throwback and a half. So we get a knockoff off on the Venusaur. Doesn't do much damage because we're obviously burned, but we get rid of those leftovers. So the Harsh Sunlight is going to fade. Venusaur looks so good in this game. Venusaur looks incredibly good this game. Very, very, very good. I'm enjoying the look of that thing really well. You know, it looks so much better than it did. It looked really derpy in the last game. So I could use this as an opportunity to go for a Spikes because they might go for a Growth and they also might go for a Trailblaze. Then again, I feel like I should teleport here. I'm going to teleport. So they go for a Giga Drain. We live on 1 HP. We live on 1 HP, which is crazy. Crazy good. Go for a teleport. There we go. Get on out of there. I suppose I could have set up hilarious Spikes, but it doesn't really matter, to be honest with you. It really doesn't matter because all we need to do now is we need to switch out. So I want to go into Feraligatr to Ice Punch this thing in the face. But I feel like they Terra if we do that. So instead, I'm going to go for the Dragapult switch. And I'm going to drop a Draco on this thing's face. Because I feel like if they're going to Terra Fire to take advantage of the sun. So Draco is still neutral. And they can't switch anything in right now. So I am going to go for the Draco Meteor. I want to get rid of this Venusaur. I feel like they switch out the Venusaur to preserve it for later in the sun. So they're going to withdraw the Venusaur as expected. Are they going to go into Torkoal? Probably. Slowpoke comes in. Yeah, that's a Torkoal. That thing can probably take 1 Draco. Probably. Hopefully it only takes 1, because then we can finish it off with a second one and burn away a turn of sun. But we don't. We unfortunately can't hold back even the slightest bit, and Dragapult ends up taking out the Torkoal in 1 shot, which is, you know, it would be fine, but it got the sun up for 8 turns now because we didn't manage to knock off that Heat Rock. So we've got to somehow stay alive right now. This thing's going to Dragon Dance on my face. I know it's going to Dragon Dance all over me. It's going to Dragon Dance all over me. So Dragapult 4 times resists. No, Dragapult resists, Venusaur stabs, and its Weather Ball. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch into Deoxys right now. I'm going to let Deoxys do its thing. Go down. I'm going to let Deoxys go down to the Gouging Fire or the Burn, whichever one comes. If they go for a Dragon Dance, then we go down to Burn, pretty much. So they do go for a Dragon Dance, which is terrifying. Very terrifying. Always terrifying. But Stealth Rock aren't up. Skarmory's at full HP with Sturdy. We should be fine here. As we do get some leftovers recovery, which might actually stop us from going down to the Burn. I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I really hope I'm wrong. No, it lives on 1 HP still. So, what I'm going to do now is, because I don't really care if this thing sets up 6 Dragon Dancers. We have Sturdy Skarmory in the back. I'm going to go for a Spikes. They might go for a Burning Bulwark, expecting us to go for a knockoff or something. I don't know. They go for a Raging Fury. Raging Fury is a Fire-type Outrage. I did not know this thing got Raging Fury. That is crazy good. You can run Raging Fury and Outrage. That's terrifying coverage and brutal strength. Absolutely brutal strength. So, they did get a Dragon Dance off, right? We don't like Dragon Dance. I'm going to have to go Skarmory, aren't I? I'm going to have to go Skarmory. I would go for the Stealth Rocks just to hit that Magmortar and the Venusaur and stuff like that, but I really just want to Whirlwind this thing out because Raging Fury is coming. Raging Fury is coming. That's for sure. So yeah, Whirlwind's going to have to be Whirlwind. So they go for the Raging Fury. It's obviously going to take us down to Sturdy. You get some Rocky Helmet damage after our Sturdy is finished telling us that it's Sturdy. And we go for a Whirlwind. They get confused as well. But we go for the Whirlwind. There we go. We need a free switch in with something. We really need a free switch in with something because Walking Wake is right there for a start. And that thing is coming out. So Walking Wake is here. Now this thing probably goes for a flip turn, but then again it might not do. It might not do. It might not go for a flip turn. I'm going to go for the Stealth Rocks just in case they don't attack us. I feel like they do attack us though. So they go for a flip turn expecting us to switch out. Either way, we're going to get some Rocky Helmet chip off on them. So unfortunately, we don't get Stealth Rocks up, which would have been nice for the Gouging Fire and the Magmortar, but it is what it is. As they're going to go back. So what are they going to bring in? Are they going to bring in the Gouging Fire once again? That'd be insane if they did that. Loudmouth comes in, which is going to be what? The Magmortar. Nice and shiny. Gotta love it. That pink looks really cool. So we do have the Feraligatr in the back. Now, this thing probably has Solar Beam. Or it has Thunderbolt. One of the two. So either way, we can't Terra Ground because it could Solar Beam. Even though that wouldn't give us an immunity. But, you know, it is what it is. It is what it is. If I drop a Draco with Dragapult, then we go down to Gouging Fire's Dragon Dance. Do we, though? I don't think we do. I don't think we do. I really don't think we do. I think we might be alright, actually. I am going to go into Dragapult just now because I want to stall out this sun. So I want to get a Draco off. Definitely going to go for a Drop of Draco. If they bring in the Gouging Fire after I take this thing out of a Drop of Draco, they go for an Endure. Interesting. So they go for an Endure. We miss a Draco Meteor, which is fine. Because that just stalls another turn of Sun, which is great for me. So we go for another Draco right now. They can't go for Endure again, which is great. So we go for a Draco Meteor. Should take it out. It does take out the Magmortar, which is fantastic. Down it goes. Dragapult is actually the MVP. It took out all three of the Pokemon we've taken out so far. Dragapult is looking like the MVP, which is a shame because I wanted Feraligatr to do some work. So in comes Incineratops, which is terrifying. They haven't Terra'd yet, which is good to note. They haven't Terra'd yet. I think we go for a Draco Meteor here. I think we do go for a Draco Meteor because it'll take it down to the point where Hitmontop's Sucker Punch can take it out, pretty much. But they might go for a Burning Bulwark if we do that. But at the same time, it's like, whatever. So we go for a Draco Meteor. It might actually take out the Gouging Fire. It does. It does take it out. Not even a critical hit. Choice Specs boosted. We might be -2. Dragapult is just a monster. All these new Pokemon, and Dragapult is the MVP. Dragapult is the MVP. This is why Dragapult is the best Dragon type outside of box art legendaries. Like Walking Wake, Gouging Fire, Raging Bolt. We don't talk about Raging Bolt. I'm going to go for another Draco Meteor right now because they haven't got the Photosynthesis anymore. But they are going to Terra. What type are they going to Terra into? This could really throw us off. So if they go Terra Water, we're definitely not taking out with Draco Meteor. Definitely not. Terra Fairy. Even worse. Even worse. Terra Fairy. So, we still could get some Feraligatr action in here. Just shook my head like in a weird way. We could do it. They go for Draco Meteor though. That's going to definitely take us out. So we could still get some Feraligatr action in here because they're going to lose some special attack right now. Which means we get a free Dragon Dance off, which is kind of awesome if you think about it. Feraligatr actually does just come in here and finish up. So I'm going to put Feraligatr in the thumbnail for the clicks. Just because like that's how it goes. So let's go for that Dragon Dance real quick. So they go for another Draco Meteor. If they get a crit, that's going to take us out. They do a lot of damage, even with the minus special attack. We go for a Dragon Dance though. That is going to be great. We now outspeed, we now KO, hopefully with liquidation on this thing. So that's going to be great. I really feel like we don't KO with a liquidation though. So I'm going to go for a liquidation anyway. So we go for the liquidation. Takes out the Walking Wake, which is fantastic. Feraligatr's got some real power behind it, that's for sure. Now, the ultimate test comes to whether a non-stabbed Ice Punch can take out a Venusaur. That is the real question right there. In comes Brute Root, the final victim to our Feraligatr's might. Let's go for the Ice Punch and take this thing out. Hopefully they don't forfeit. They don't forfeit, they let it happen. Ice Punch comes through. Venusaur goes down. Once again, Venusaur looks amazing in this game. But besides that, GG Lazy Boy, that was a pretty fun game. He says he could have played better. He's just put that in Discord. But I personally think he played really well. It was only a 3-0 victory and it was a long game. You know, it was a good game. It was a really good game. But anyway, here is the team. If you want to try it out, use the code at the top right corner of the screen. Thank you so much for watching today's video. If you did enjoy, of course, leave a like, subscribe, all that wonderful stuff. And with that being said, I'll see you all in a bit.